The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
Welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your level, humble, and squeezably soft host. Once again into the breach, dear friends. We're off, 9 points on the S&P cash, 1.82 billion shares. We pretty much hammered down to the previous low of a week ago with, what was it, about 2072. I saw 2073 this morning. And by 10 o'clock, we only had about 300 million shares, which is, normally you're going to do 450, something like that. 10 o'clock, bell rang, huge amount of volume came in. Didn't really move the market right away. Slowly, we've been moving back up at 2085 on the S&P cash. And I don't think there's a whole lot to do right now. We're in one of these tug-of-war matches where the knot in the center doesn't seem to go too far from the center, and everything has headline risk around it. Any day at 10 o'clock, we can have the announcement for the settlement of the Orwellian named Affordable Care Act. We can have other issues that might affect business, but they're probably the biggest one this week. We also have Greek news that could come at any time. We've got the FOMC meeting at 2 o'clock on Wednesday. It is, as they say on Wall Street, a headline risk market. One headline away from being stopped out or pushed out or making a lot of cash. Unfortunately, normally you can know which way press and issues are going to go. But almost all these things are being decided by very few people. In the stock market, you get the wisdom of the crowds. And in a lot of these things, what we're going to get is the stupidity of the few. People as a whole tend to make fairly decent decisions. Unfortunately, Hitler was democratically elected. I don't know if they stuff the ballot boxes a whole lot. Occasionally, an entire nation will go insane. And that's not where we're at right now. I think we're spread out enough. Normally, it's all about having a lot of people in one location and them all deciding the future for everybody. It's a much better decision when everybody's kind of spread out and have different agendas. We're kind of lucky that way. Unfortunately, few people in 2 or 3 major cities think that they know it all, and they're just smarter than all those people out there in flyover country. It is not true. Individually, we might find very smart people, and you don't find a lot of physicists out in the middle of a cornfield. But it doesn't mean that there isn't a ton of common sense out there that you don't tend to get in big cities. And you don't get a lot of influence from the farmer at the cocktail circuit trying to make sure that he's invited to the next one, so he just goes along to get along. Normally, these people have pretty well-entrenched, character-based decisions and policies in their life. But what else can you say? We had a lot of damage, of course, in the Asian markets overnight. Big pop in some of the ETF, negative ETFs, anyway, that I've been watching. But this is going to be a very, very tough market. Again, we've tested the top, no volume. We've tested the bottom, not a lot of volume this morning. You can pretty much say that most of this volume after the first hour was on the way back up, trying to push the market back up. Still off 10 points, which doesn't make it any better. I thought they try to push this market up right up to the highs for the FOMC meeting. We still have that opportunity. And with the volatility in this market, wouldn't be a surprise. Doesn't look like anybody's going really to the whip yet on S&P futures. Those prices for out of the money puts and calls, otherwise known as the VIX, is still extremely low. So what do we have to do? Well, I think we should go back and look to our past to see what's going to happen in our future.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
Today in 1933, the Glass-Steagall Act goes in effect. It limits the brokerage and underwriting activities of commercial banks. The National Industrial Recovery Act establishes a $3.3 billion public works program and gives the government unprecedented powers over the railroads and other industries. And probably something that should have been left in place. And of course, it's been put away. But yeah. When you get 50 years or generation out, everybody forgets and it all happens all over again. And that's how you can make money. Know that why everybody thinks that we get that much smarter. Again, that common sense from that farmer out there in the Midwest, probably not. I don't think we've increased our knowledge pool, but not our real ability to have common sense. That doesn't seem to change from generation to generation. I think it's been one of those things that's been around forever. One of the other things that really interests me in the past is happened on this day in 1910. The U.S. Post Office raided the headquarters of a company called United Wireless Telegraph in New York City, arresting its flamboyant president, not that way, another way called flamboyant, a colonel, Christopher Columbus Wilson, and a Vice President Samuel Bogart on charges of manipulating the stock price through mail fraud, fleecing the public, and more than $20 million, about $365 million in today's money. Like today's internet stock advisors, basically in 2000, yesterday's radio investors earned mostly heartbreak. This company was going up against the Marconi Company of Europe. And this guy basically, after they got the thing going, it was the largest telegram company in the world, actually bigger than what Marconi did. Basically, they kept extending the middle finger of fate in the face of the Marconis. After this all blew up, it was all bought by the Marconi Company back again. And we weren't going to have another real big radio company in America for about another 10 or 12 years. But this was a long line of companies in this vein that was extremely like the dot-coms of 2000. And like I said, there's not anything really new under Wall Street. It changes. It gets better. People say it's different this time. And guess what? It's never different this time. Whatever's happened in the market has happened before and will happen again. Again, that common sense is uncommon and forgotten way too quickly. But other things that we have going on today, when news breaks, I'm always here to fix it. It's been 1,350 days since the last 10% market correction. Does it seem like that? 1,350 days. Huh. Kind of amazing. We're almost going on 38 or 3,900 days since the last major hurricanes hit the United States. Does that seem like that's been that long either? Everybody likes to predict the things, especially things that are random. And the question is, how can you do that? Anyway, apparently it never rains in the stock market, and the stock market never goes down, and it's different this time. The IMF says that there is no progress being made once again out here. And, of course, Greece is the word. Vacuophocus. Vacuophocus. I think that's how it's pronounced. I don't know. Again, I hear this 15 different times, 15 different ways, and everybody else says everything else. And I'm afraid about saying something wrong and maybe even something lewd, depending on the way you say his name. Of course, those guys are camped and in basically at the last end of their rope. At least the EU's giving the Greece the last end of the rope. And people are saying that this Greece news is the reason this market is down. I don't think it is. I think that this market probably would have moved just the same way, Greeks or not. Of course, it's probably, 8 or 9 o'clock already in Greece. Probably not going to hear anything until probably, about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, maybe 3 o'clock in the morning. So you may want to stay up or go to sleep and get up and set the alarm for about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, see if there's anything going on. You can go back to bed if there's not. But it looks to me like if there's going to be some action, it's going to be probably one more kick the can down the road, and as they say in Europe, extend and pretend. But it's almost impossible to pretend anymore. It's been 2 years now since the start of the Greek tragedy. And what do you expect when people are not willing to either start over and pay their debts? Because, of course, no one's going to extend them much credit. But I just don't know how the whole thing works. Of course, the Greeks have no intention of paying any money. They think maybe that the EU will shower them with some more cash to keep them in. But I think from a lot of the comments that we've seen, in fact, the comments that probably really started the movement of our markets going back up was Mario Draghi. Doesn't that sound like a James Bond villain? I wonder if it was Draghi. Sounds like, I bet there was something close to it. I wonder if it was the weird guy with the cat. I think Draghi. It's one of them. I'm going to have to look it back up. Can't remember. Maybe it was Moonraker. Maybe it was the Draghi Industries. Yeah, it was a very strange dude, too. But, news can come out at any time. And, of course, we've got everything from this morning. And I think, actually, this morning when we looked at it, we were off about 10 points on the S&P cash on the future, maybe 5 points, between 5 and 10. And then, of course, the numbers came out for the New York area manufacturing index. They were about 6% off and 6% down. And I think they were looking for 6% better, and it was 1% worse. So there wasn't a whole lot of follow through, and that added to it. But we don't have a lot more happening out here other than that. It's pretty much it. It's a mad market, and we're here to look at it. I don't think there's probably a lot of money to be made between now and the FOMC meeting, maybe. But I think you'd have to have a faster mouse finger than me, and that may not be possible. Okay, I'm going to start looking at a few stocks out here today. See if we've got anything else going on. DAX off 2%, France off 2%, Portugal off 2.3%, Italy off 2.4%, Greece off almost 5%. Yeah, we'll be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Thinkorswim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we're back. In the meantime, you can always email me at path@tfnn.com. You can post a message in the den. And, of course, as always, we enjoy callers. 877-927-6648. And we have operators standing by with bated breath. That's right, I put worms on their tongue, so they are baited. Anyway, we've got just about everything ready to go here. Wanted to look at a few stocks. If you had been watching the news over the weekend, you would have seen that Jurassic Park was, I think, the second biggest opening of all time, or biggest opening. I've seen contrary views out there. $500 million worldwide. Nice chunk of change. And I've had somebody actually email me here just before the show, asked me if I had anything to do with the original Jurassic Park. And our company that we had did not. But one of the things that we were looking about was making our products for a SGI machine at the time, just before the movie came out. And I spent 2 months at the Stanford University, which is, 8 minutes away from Silicon Graphics, who made all the hardware and software pretty much for that movie to make the original device. And I did get called in, and we talked at great length about memory. They had basically at that point, memory, having the ability to put 128 gigabytes of RAM in anything did not exist. So SGI was building these giant refrigerator-sized memory devices to plug in to their unit. At that time, I had actually personally had an SGI Indigo if you knew what that was, but it's like a kind of an entry-level workstation in Unix. I loved the little thing. It was basically you could see a lot of what's happening in computers today. Anyway, iMacs, a little pop out here, not any real juice, but of course bucking the general market trend out here. You'd like to see a little bit more than the volume today, which is about 525,000, even on Friday as it went into at 1.5 million shares compared to the spike of May 28th at 3 million shares. This is a stock that basically is on the whim of big movies. And the question is whether or not we're going to have any others of this size. I think it was hot and rainy over the majority of the United States. Probably pushed a lot of people into seeing movies this weekend that may have gone out and done something else if it wasn't so miserably hot and or rainy all over the country. But it's interesting. I'm just going to watch this in the next few days, but you probably want volume to come back in this thing or it's going to come back. It's hard for me to see how things get really any better for IMAX. It's not like they're going to put up 20 new theaters or open a whole bunch of IMAX locations. I think those are pretty much fixed. The amount of money that it costs to make an IMAX print also very expensive. And I think that it's probably found some kind of level. And this probably, unless something drastically changes, I have probably a feeling this is going to be in a trading range depending on the quality of the movies coming out, and probably somewhere, maybe this thing could get to 45 bucks, but probably going to be in a trading range for a long time. What else do we have going on out here? Oh, that was one of them. Wanted to see how some of these China stocks did. We were bringing up Sohu on Friday, and just the light volume compared to the April 27th. It wasn't as light as some of the other ones out here, but it was still a good indication that there wasn't a lot of juice to drive this one higher. You had 1.1 million shares on the 8th, but on Friday you only had less than 1 million shares. So you're basically going against that April 27th high with 1.4 million shares. And you didn't get the juice in it that you needed, and it's back in the trading range solidly. I suspect that China has seen a lot of these highs. Aqua America starting to break through its previous lows. Only needs 760,000 shares, already 460,000 so far today. Probably going to get close or that level out here, which is the December 16th. If you're not familiar with Aqua America, it's not Aquaman or anything to do with movies. Operates regulated utilities that provide water or wastewater services in the United States. So basically a utility, and it can't hold up, which is kind of funny. But you never know. FDX, we were talking about this one being tested with such light volume in comparison to its previous high. We are coming back into the trading range on this. We'll talk a little bit more about FedEx, but looks good. Anyway, give me a call, 877-927-6648. We got some people in the den that have some things that we want to look at. Email me at path@tfnn.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. And we've got Mike in Dallas. How you doing today, Mike?
Just a quick question in reference to the Greek situation. I noticed through the news that the IMF is talking about it. The Federal Reserve talks about it. Is that to indicate that a lot of our big banks are involved in the bonds that were sold to the Greek government due to political pressures?
No. It's all 98% of it is 5 of the EU countries. Germany, I think, has some 70% of all that debt, maybe 60 or 70% of it. Germany by themselves.
Okay.
So, no, there's almost no exposure to the U.S. The U.S., all the people here looked at it and said, you got to be kidding. Okay. There's a lot of the whole idea that, you know, that we're one big European nation and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And there was a lot of money mostly to buy influence and market input and being able to sell your cars like the Germans wanted to sell their cars to the Greeks. Yeah. And it was kind of a lot like that. It's probably a wash for them. They may even look at it just as graft. Right. So there's, you know, if we talked about the United States losing $70 billion or $60 billion or whatever it is, everybody would just go, a billion here, a billion there. Maybe you're talking real money, but over there, you know,
It's a big deal.
the sad truth, and I've said it before. I don't know if you've heard it. Literally, I'm not saying figuratively. Literally, Germans own 80 or 85% of everything in Europe.
Right. Yes.
And it's just it just seems like people really you hear it, and then everybody goes, but yeah, right? And no, not but yeah. They literally own just about darn near everything over there because they didn't get into that Western democracy idea like everybody else did after the Second World War. They had nothing and actually went and used the Marshall Plan to build something out of it.
Absolutely. Yes.
They also have a bunch of rivers that are kind of like the equivalent of our Mississippi that allows them to do a lot of heavy industry that none of the other countries have. And so they've got a lot of advantages no one else does.
Yes.
But, I mean, the only thing, everybody could give a rat's butt whether the Greeks stayed in. What they do think, though, is if they do stay in, then the rest of the other countries, the B teams like Portugal and Finland and all those, they won't book too. The idea is that, you know, you pull one brick and the rest of them maybe fall down.
I think a lot of it, knowing that Germany has 70 to 80% of it, and there's a possibility of a little resentment there. So,
well, there's not a little resentment. They call him Hitler. The Greeks call them Hitler all over the place. It's not a little tiny one. There's a great parody video that someone sent me. I sent it to Andy Heck, and it's all just about. I don't know what your tolerance for foul language is, but if you wanted to email me, I will send you the link. But someone produced a. Go ahead.
I knew yesterday when the premier of Greece said, and I'm paraphrasing, why do we need to pay this back when so much of it goes to Germany when they need to pay us reparations for World War II?
That's it. But there's that on the both sides. But there's this YouTube parody video about Varoufakis and stuff, and it will. I mean, it's kind of like the biting satire that we get from the guy that's on HBO now. I forget his name, the English guy, and there's a handful of other ones, but it's from the German perspective, right? And it gives a really big indication of what the people really think over there. The Greeks, it wouldn't matter if they got reparations; they still wouldn't go back to work.
No. That doesn't have anything to do with it. Yeah.
We live. If you've ever been to Tampa, I don't know if you have you ever been to Tampa?
Once, yes.
Right north of Tampa, along the ocean, was the Greeks that wanted to work hard and couldn't get ahead and had all the problems after the Second World War, or maybe even before the first. I don't know how long they've been there. They took off and moved to just north of Clearwater Beach in Tampa, which is just straight west of downtown Tampa. And so we have a huge Greek Orthodox area, just maybe 30 minutes up here. I go up there to the docks to eat. Very nice, but it was like all the people I work with in my company, they all thought that everybody that they knew in England were weak and worthless and were just looking for the dole. And so they all took off and went to Canada. Started.
Oh, wow.
And basically, they'd been there for 20 years when I bumped into them, and they formed the new company that ended up being the thing I was in for 12 years. But it was one of those very strange deals where, you know, generally, if you make everything equally miserable, the people, the cream, will take off and find somewhere else to go. And I've seen that. They called it in the 60s the brain drain from England, and the same kind of thing happened to the Greeks. These guys worked their rear ends off up there, and it just, the more you read about the Western socialist kind of democracies that just believe that they are entitled to it all, you find places like Greeks, which is even worse than France. And if that's saying a whole lot. So
Dave, I
that's pretty
spent-
much it. You've got the Germans who basically hate the Greeks, not because they're Greek. They hate them because they're lazy. At least that's what they say.
Well, I spent 7.5 years in Germany, and I owned about 14 video stores, and just an incredible place to work and to do business. And I found them in the various cities that I would have to do business very easy to do business with. And at the time when I moved there, I did not know German.
Yeah.
So I'd always have to have somebody come along. But, yes, very enterprising people.
The
And
Gates.
Yes.
I took 2 or 3 years of, I can't even remember now, high school German before I went over there. And,
Well,
of course, by the time I got over there, it wasn't worth anything to me. Guten
Well,
Tag. I know all the foul language, too, in German, but that doesn't do me much good. I was over there when the wall was coming down. That was kind of a very
I
interesting
was there in
time.
'89, yes. 3
I
months
was there,
before
and
the
they were
wall
trying to
came in.
trade me all kinds of tanks and AK-47s and
God.
anything that they could put their hands on to buy television equipment.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Guy
Well,
offered
David,
me
thank you for-
I think it was a T-55 tank.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I said, we can't even start this conversation. One of the guys that I knew in Cincinnati, though, bought a L-39
Oh, wow.
jet fighter from them
Oh, wow.
with
Oh, gosh.
with $300,000 in cash in
God.
a grocery bag.
Oh, that is funny.
And
That
they
is
flew it
funny.
back here, and it got stuck in customs because the 20 millimeter cannons in the wings were still loaded.
Well, I tell you, and then I'll let you go. I know you're busy, but it's still the only place that I've ever been where you can walk into a bank and they have replicas of gold bars that you can buy.
Yeah. Pretty
You
weird.
know? But anyway, thanks, Dave. I
You
appreciate
bet. Thanks for
your
the phone call.
time. Bye-bye.
Yeah, it was very interesting to go over there. Genuine replicas. It's like factory air from our completely air-conditioned factory. I remember when cars used to have air conditioning as an option. Can you even think about that now? Was I a Stasi double agent? No, I was not. But my birth parents were from the Black Forest region of Germany. So I was adopted, but so I've got that lineage somewhere. And a brother named Orville that I've never met. And no one knows where he's at. So one of these days, maybe those records will get unsealed and I will find out. Anyway, we were looking at FedEx when we left. 3.4 million shares, $183.51. 3.4 million shares, 1.9 million shares just a few days ago. We brought this up on Friday, I think. Back into the trading range. And, when we look at what's going on here, this big trading consolidation range, you had the huge energy down in a lot of these stocks. In this case, back in December 8th of 2014 to the December 17th low of December 14, you had a ton of energy come into that time. You have never really come in and tested that low of 163.57. So you've got to think that it's going to be there. You came within 3 cents of it with 1.7 million shares, and I can almost say that that's a test. I couldn't play this stock until it did actually test and break that low. That's called proving the point. 3 cents may not seem like a lot. It just, I would not be short this thing, but at the same time, I can't go long either. Your odds are just so much better if it does pierce that low, even by a penny, even if it just ties it. You're much better off. But this certainly looks to me like this is just a bigger trading range. And, of course, you would think that this stock would be blowing through the highs once again today with crude. It's back under $60. I think someone called me on Thursday or asked me what I thought of crude. It still seems like crude's in that trading range that's probably somewhere around 53 to 62 as a bigger range. 55, it may not get to 53. 55 probably a lot more likely. But I think we're on our way out here, especially when you look at the way copper and some of these other metals are working and or not working. Let me put it that way. You've got to think that they're out there. Gold was up $8 today. Not a big deal. We're back into the $16 range on silver. So again, kind of tough to figure out any of the stuff that really is pushing anything. CMG, I wanted to see how this was doing. This one's getting awful close to a buy point, or at least the possible buy point. You'd like this thing probably to go under $600. Light volume as it's back down again today. You're going to have some fairly fierce resistance in this one. And if this market's going to run once back up against to its highs, this is going to be very interesting, especially since they're under so much pressure for their food costs. Actually ate at Chili's today and asked, of course, for my salad to be a Caesar salad, or as I call it, a seizure salad. And it is funny that they won't let them make Caesar dressing anymore at the Chili's. And I thought, how weird does it go? But it comes out to two things. One, they didn't want to pay the insurance for making their own egg-based dressing, and they also wanted to only carry one line of lettuce. They didn't want to have to carry a second line of lettuce for a traditional Caesar salad. And a lot of these companies are going to have to make some very decent or very interesting moves out here. But yeah, that's it. Anyway, Chipotle, taking a look at that. CMA, another one out here that it had peaked its head above the July 16th, 2014 high. $52.24, 3.4 million shares. We are into that today, or we were into that on the 10th with 2.2 million shares back into trading range. My guess is we've still got a few of these that have a little juice in them, and they're probably going to pierce these highs one more time, and then that will be it. But I just don't see these things rolling over as easy as you would. So let's check our email. Okay, one more check. Donnie from Atlanta wants to look at Apple very quick. And then, we've got something that I forgot about up here in the den, who said, Dave, can you look at ZZ, CTL, and BTE for the phone group? What do you think about DirectT and the T merger? Any thoughts on telephone companies and competitive price wars in their future? Apple, again, this thing, I think we talked about it on Friday, so I won't spend a lot of time on it, but this looks to me like this is in a trading range back down to 121.63. Probably eventually going to work its way back down to the 113 area, maybe 112, to fill this gap up that had all the volume going back on the 28th of February. Just looks like it's a lot. When we come back, in fact, I'll probably just try to dedicate the end of the show here to the telephone group, and we will see. But kind of tough to see. I guess the biggest problem with them is the FCC. We'll talk about that when we come back.
Trade with confidence and clarity while using the software that thousands of institutional traders rely on to make the best and most accurate decisions. Choose from 1,000 equities, currencies, and futures instruments utilizing the TAS architecture. As seen on Bloomberg terminals worldwide, the TAS Profile Scanner is a benchmark technical filtering system that thousands of traders rely on, and now you can too. For a limited time for TFNN subscribers only, we've reduced the price to just $97. That's over 75% off. John Logan hosted a special subscriber-only webinar in December, and you'll gain access to that archive as well, so you can learn exactly what the TAS Profile Scanner can do for you. Try this product out. No matter what you trade, the TAS Profile Scanner can help you make more informed trading decisions. There's no obligation to pay anything. Don't let this offer pass you by. Get your 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner today by signing up at TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
I was thinking of John Oliver. He's probably had more impact since he's gone to HBO this week, tonight, or something like that. I forget what it is, but probably had more impact than anybody else has had politically in the last year. Pretty much single-handedly moving the FCC bubble by calling the FCC chair a dingo. But what else can you say? Google, question about what's going on in this. It's either in massive distribution or massive accumulation, and I can't tell which one it is. There's no real rhyme or reason, but there's somebody in this thing that is either getting in or getting out. I'm going to have to go back and dig to see what's going on. Maybe there's some filings and something. I didn't see anything right off the bat, but there's either somebody getting in or getting out, and this is what you look for in a big move out of it. Question is whether or not it's going to go back and test the January 29th low, or maybe this April 17th low at 529. And to tell you the truth, I can't tell you. This thing could bounce one way or the other. I don't see any rhyme or reason. Whoever's either buying this or selling it is doing a whale of a job, because I don't see anything in it that really says one way or another which way this thing is going. As for the telecom group, basically you have a lot of companies that are in a big trouble, mostly because of the decision of the SEC. Verizon, AT&T, the rest of them. Basically, you have a bunch of companies that are now trying to figure out what to do. They thought that they had the ability to turn water off to all of their consumers, and by doing that, exact whatever cash they wanted out of them. The new FCC regulations mean that they could be hauled in front and made to look rather poor. And that's basically what we're at now. The ability to be and have your own fiefdom has been curtailed. Of course, especially since they were making or trying to make a lot of money on their data, the plans that they said were all you could eat and really weren't going to be very problematic for them in the coming years. They're going to have to live up to those contracts. And I know a lot of people that are in those AT&T forever contracts that there's no way that they're going to be able to be kicked out of them. Kind of like the rent-controlled apartments in New York. And we continue to see that. You've got, of course, the last of the bunch, which is T-Mobile. And that guy out there, John, I can't remember his name right now, basically is making every move he can to put on more and more pressure to those around him until they buy him out at a big price. And he's just going to be incredibly irritating until they do. And basically the move for Dish, all these other things are all about how irritating you can be to your competitors until they buy you out. He doesn't have enough spectrum to go it alone, and he knows it. But what he can do is make it incredibly painful, both in the PR realm and mostly in the bookkeeping realm of cutting the other people's profits until they bow to buying him out. And I think he's small enough. I think T-Mobile's small enough that they could get through all of that from regulation. But none of the others really are. They're going to keep those guys apart. So I don't know what else I can say about that. We've got a little bit of market fluctuation. We'll be probably seeing that with a light volume all the way into the Fed announcement on Wednesday. Look for some sheer moments of terror as news hits from either Greece, the Supreme Court, and even the FOMC, although we exactly know when that's coming out. My guess is that we're going to have a big food fight, and I'm going to try to avoid it until at least Wednesday afternoon. And I think we've got some options action coming up then. See you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. So when you can, not when you have to. Hang on for Tom O'Brien.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. You're watching Tiger TV.